Welcome to day 27 of Shadowhunters month, and today it's another bit of a different kind of video, which I mainly did because I'm quite selfish and I want to know a bit more about what kind of Shadowhunters merchandise is out there that I can get, but I'm going to be kind of showing you everything kind of that I have in regards to Shadowhunters merchandise, which is surprisingly mainly just books. But I'm always keen for more. I really want to do like those Funko Pop vinyls. I would absolutely love Shadowhunters ones of those. I know like people make custom ones, that is really amazing, clever people. I just don't have the talent to do that. So that'd be amazing. I doubt we'll ever get that, unfortunately. But that'd be great. But there's so much like Shadowhunters merchandise out there, especially kind of when the film came out. But I don't have a lot of interest in like the film merchandise. But imagine like a prop replica of like a stele or something. I'd like eat that up. But yeah, I thought I'd just show you guys everything that I have in terms of Shadowhunters merchandise. And maybe some of you guys can let me know what you've got, if anything. So I just kind of want to see what's out there and just want to open a conversation about it, really. Because I feel like there's not enough. And I know Freeform, for some reason, have suddenly started promoting Shadowhunters merchandise on their shop. So I might check that out, if nothing else, but to show that Shadowhunters can be a very profitable kind of show. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, it's only like mugs and stuff, but it's a start, I suppose. And I feel like the main kind of Shadowhunters merchandise I've been familiar with has been like jewellery, which for the most part I'm literally not at all kind of interested in. I'd probably buy them for like display pieces, which is kind of one of the things I will be showing you. But I'd never actually, I have no interest in like wearing jewellery or anything. The only thing I absolutely need to wear are these. So outside of that, I don't really have much of an interest in that, which does take away a lot of merchandise for me. And then like temporary tattoos and stuff. Again, the whole temporary thing, I don't really have much of an interest in that side of things, although I do think having like Shadowhunters tattoos and temporary tattoos and stuff is a very clever idea, just because of the nature of runes, so I think that makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I just kind of want to do this video to show you guys some of the stuff that I have, and to see if there's some like absolute gold mines out there in terms of Shadowhunters merch that I could be missing out on and I could get for myself at some point. This is just another way of kind of celebrating the show and the books that we all know and love. And there's like some stuff in the films I've seen, like tiny little steles and stuff, but it looks just so plasticky and I'm not sure it would be for me. But yeah, without further ado, I'll just show you some of the things I have. For the most part it is just the books, but I do have some variations, although I will tell you one thing I really want. I did see a set of tarot cards online that were like officially illustrated by Cassandra Jean and stuff, and I was like that close to getting them before, but I just decided against it because they were really, really expensive, and at the time I couldn't really afford it. I mean, I still can't, which is why I don't have them, but I'd love to get like these Shadowhunters tarot card sets one day. And there's so many times I've kind of gone on to redbubble.com, if you know that site, and ordered some Shadowhunters t-shirts, but again, I was like, oh, I shouldn't really, I need to kind of eat food while I'm at uni, so I'll have to refrain from buying those t-shirts. But one day I will have a massive Shadowhunters collection, and I can't wait for that day. But yeah, before that, let's get into the stuff I have. I've laid it all out beautifully on my bed. I say beautifully, not at all. I have kind of no sense of organisation at all. You should see the rest of my room right now. I'm glad you can't, let's just say that. Let's start off with the obvious, the Mortal Instruments books. Obviously I came into the fandom, if you will, in early 2016, I think. The show was just nearing the end of season 1 when I started it, and I binge watched it and then I read the books. So I think it was early 2016, about there and thereabouts. So that was when I was kind of introduced to the verse of Shadowhunters and stuff, and therefore a couple of different editions of the books had been released in the UK at that point. I believe the ones I have are the second edition. The first edition, like, pretty plain, if you ask me. They still look cool though, but I do actually prefer the art style of the ones that I bought. At the time, they were just in one of my local supermarkets. There was like a 2 for £7 offer or something, and they had like the first 2 in there. So I was like, you know what, I love this show, I'll give the books a go. So that's why I got the first 2, and then I kind of bought them all from there as they were coming out and stuff. Because I bought the first 2 Mortal Instruments. I might as well show them now. This, I believe it's the second UK edition. I did show them in my book club video. So yeah, that's the first one. And City of Ashes, of course. So that's Jace and Clary on the covers, I believe. But yeah, I bought those 2 from my local supermarket. And that was kind of just before I started uni, actually, I think. Yeah, just before I started uni. And from there I binged read them quite quickly, within like a week. And then I bought the rest of the Mortal Instruments. Then when I came to uni, I bought the Infernal Devices, and so on and so forth. But I'll probably get into that when I show you. Obviously there's not a lot to say about the books anyway, because you know what they're about really. But yeah, just in case you haven't seen my book club video, that's what they look like. City of Glass, and that is City of Fallen Angels. Izzy on it, I believe it's Sebastian on City of Glass cover. Alec on City of Lost Souls. I just really like the art style of these. I don't normally like it because I believe they're like actual models that they use for the photos, for these editions. I don't normally like that on book covers. I also don't like getting book covers if they've been like made into movies and they use the movie poster as the cover. For some reason I just don't like that, so I never really buy it like that. And there's City of Heavenly Fire, which is up for debate. I've heard people say it's Jace, I've heard people say it's Sebastian, I've heard people say it's Jem. I don't know. I think it's Jace. Who can say? But I really like the consistent art covers and stuff. Oh, and how they have like a different character there on the side, and you can like put them all together and make a big image, which I think is just a cool little gimmick that I really like. But I really like the art style of those editions, so I'm really glad I got them. But I think the original editions just had like different runes on the covers, and then the main books themselves were just like, there's a pink one or a blue one, stuff like that. So I actually really like those ones. And it's the same kind of editions that came with the Infernal Devices as well. Here. Ow! I just hit my head on my desk. Not my head, my knee. So that is Clockwork Angel. So I bought all these once I started uni. I was still reading the Mortal Instruments at the time, but I was like, I need to keep buying things. So yeah, Will on the front of that one. And then Jem on the front of Clockwork Prince, and Tessa on the front of Clockwork Princess. So similar kind of art styles to the Mortal Instruments books, which I really like because it kind of keeps them all together. Shows like their connected universe, and I really like that. Although one thing I will say about the print in those books, I think it's only in the Mortal Instruments, but there's like 2 or 3 books, but like in different fonts, and then the rest of them are like the same, and that really bugs me. But it's okay. I'll let it go. It's fine. So there's like some of the main books I've got. And then I think, well, I know these are like first editions in the UK for the Dark Artifices when these came out, because I got both of these the day they came out. I believe. I definitely got Lord of Shadows on the day it came out. I'm not sure, maybe not Lady Midnight. I think I got Lady Midnight for Christmas actually. Christmas 2016, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right. And obviously they changed it up with these kind of because the covers themselves are a lot bigger. If I get one of those, you can just see like these are massive. I don't really mind because they kept it consistent with the Dark Artificers themselves. But yeah, I really like the kind of lenticular designs of these, even though they are pretty hefty and an absolute nightmare to fit into my bag for uni if I want to take them with me to read while I'm waiting for class to start. And there's Lord of Shadows, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing Queen of Air and Darkness in person when that comes out in just a couple of weeks. For some reason Lord of Shadows has blue pages on the side. Maybe 9 doesn't. That kind of bothers me a bit with my minor OCD, but I'll get over it. So yeah, I love the kind of art style behind all of the Shadowhunters covers. And it's kind of the only series of books that use like models on their front covers that I actually like. So well done to the kind of people who design the covers and stuff. I think they always do a great job of kind of giving each individual Shadowhunters series its own kind of flair. But you can tell they're all like the same universe, which I think is very nicely done. Do I have more books? I do. I have plenty of books. And this one is Tales from the Shadowhunters Academy. I got the hardback version because it was the only one available when I bought this. I got this the day it came out. I remember going to Waterstones very early in the morning to get it on opening day. And since then they have released a paperback version. But obviously I already bought it, so I wasn't going to buy a paperback one. If I had the choice I would have bought the paperback one when it first came out, but that wasn't the case. So yeah, it shows all the versions of the books I have as well on the back of this one. So again, it makes it feel connected. So this edition, obviously a hardback one, and it also comes, which I completely forgot about, this one came with a giant poster of Simon, which is basically just a full version of the cover. But I do like that. I think I might buy the paperback version at some point though, just so I can have like a complete collection of paperback Shadowhunters books, because this does kind of stand out for being hardback. But you know, when it was the only thing available on opening day, I had to get it. So yeah, I really like the cover for this. Again, they use models, and that normally bugs me with so many things. I don't know why it doesn't really bother me with Shadowhunters. But yeah, I quite like that edition because it has the poster inside. I don't think the paperback would, so it is what it is. And then, in terms of some other kind of spin-off books, if you will, from the main series, this is the Bane Chronicles. So again, kind of a model. And this one actually is interesting because, if you can see it, they have different covers for the model instruments, etc. on the back of this one. So maybe the ones I have are actually 3rd edition in the UK. These might be the 2nd one. But there's definitely, I think, at least 3 different variations of covers for Shadowhunters books in the UK. But yeah, these are the Bane Chronicles, which I've yet to do a book club video on. It's the next book club video I'll be doing, so look out for that in a couple of days. And yeah, this is just like a collection of 10 short stories, I think, and there's like a little cartoon at the front of each one, and they're all about Magnus, hence the name Bane Chronicles. I'm sure a lot of you have already read them a long time before I even did, so I can shut up because you know what this is all about. But yeah, a lot of it was kind of completionist, that's why I have to buy all the books. But luckily I love what's inside of them all as well, although it did take me a while to get into the Bane Chronicles, I would admit. But that's for another video. Then in terms of another spin-off again, this is the Shadowhunters Codex. I don't know if anyone knows Robbie Amell. Does anyone else think that looks so much like Robbie Amell? I feel like they might have stolen his face for this cover. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, this is the Shadowhunters Codex. This is another kind of cool little spin-off book. So it literally is just the Shadowhunters Codex. You know, Cassandra Clare, etc. had written it out and stuff, but they've added like a little twist to it, because it's covered in like notes and illustrations by Clary, Jason, Simon, which are kind of fun little additions Honestly, I'd like them to like re-release this as just like, as if it were like a textbook that they would actually study in the institutes and stuff, but like without the notes on it from the characters. But it's a fun little kind of edition. Not my favourite cover in the world, I would admit. I feel like it looks very fake compared to some other ones. So I'm not a huge fan of the cover. I think it looks quite photoshopped. But you know, it is what it is. And it's a fun little book to read. If you want to know more about the whole of like the Shadowhunters verse and stuff, you want to get lots of the lore, that's a great one to read. And then this one, I've mentioned this in a few of my videos in Shadowhunters month. It's Shadowhunters and Downworlders, a Mortal Instruments reader. So this is just a collection of essays that Cassandra Clare has compiled from other writers in the young adult kind of genre, if you will. Just talking about different things to do with the Mortal Instruments. I believe it came out before City of Heavenly Fire. I feel like this was published before that. I really like the cover as well. It might have been alongside City of Heavenly Fire, because they talk about the final book is coming out so-and-so, and don't forget to watch the movie that's coming out in so-and-so. Bit awkward. Oh yeah, it says on the back actually. 6th June 2014. So this is before book 6 of the Mortal Instruments came out, and before the film. But yeah, it's a really cool, interesting collection of essays. There's one about why Simon Lewis is a hero, why the best friend never gets the girl, a bit about the politics of the Clave, a bit about Malik and their importance in Shadowhunters. I think there's things about Jace, there's things about runes. Really, really interesting read. I definitely recommend you get it if you're interested in that kind of outside look and analysis of Shadowhunters, because it is really, really cool. I find it really, really interesting stuff. But you know, if critical essays aren't for you, then probably not the book that you'd be particularly interested in. But I got that early last year, I think. I was definitely near the end of my first year of uni, so I think it was like early last year. And then maybe some slightly more interesting releases that I have. This is an illustrated history of notable Shadowhunters and denizens of Downworld by Cassandra Clare, illustrated by Cassandra Jean. And I think this came out last year, or maybe the year before. But it was fairly new when I got it as well. And it is basically like a picture guide, I suppose, of like notable characters in Shadowhunters. There's a picture of them there, illustrated by Cassandra Jean, and then they have like a bit of a fact file on the other side. And they kind of split it up into different sections. Let's see. So there are characters from the Inferno Devices, then the Last Hours, then the Mortal Instruments, then Tales from the Shadowhunt Academy, then Dark Artificers. So they've kind of done it in chronological order. So obviously Last Hours will be coming out next year, I think, the first book of those. So it's really cool kind of seeing the artist's interpretation of all the different characters. I just think it's really interesting. And it's actually a few of these illustrations that I've used in some of my countdown videos as well. Let's try and find a recognisable character. So there's like loads of different characters in here. It's actually quite packed. And while it's not like the longest kind of informational paragraphs in the world, it's still quite interesting. But I just think the pictures are so brilliant. It's kind of worth it for them alone, really. So there's Emma from Dark Artificers. Some really cool illustrations, and they kind of like attribute a flower or a plant of some kind to each character, and what it symbolises to them. And it's just a really kind of, it's a cool little idea. I like having like an encyclopedia of like the main characters in Shadowhunters, I suppose. So it's a really kind of fun little read to have. So it won't take you too long to get through it, but there's some really beautiful illustrations in there. and some very subtle kind of character analysis. So it's definitely worth the money for me. I don't think it was actually too expensive, so that's always good. And then the final book I have is one I got, I believe it was either earlier this year or last year, because either this year or last year, can't remember which one was which, I want to say this year. It was the 10th anniversary of the first Shadowhunters book, City of Bones, coming out, so they released a 10th anniversary edition. So the day that came out, I rushed down to Waterstones and got that. So that's a cover. It says all the stories are true on the back, and then inside there's a couple of like coloured illustrations, query, and then on the back I think it's Jace and his owl. So that's pretty cool. And the best thing about this for me is that it's signed by Cassandra Clare. So that was really cool. It made the price a little bit more, but it still wasn't as expensive as I thought it was going to be when I went into the shop to get it. Because they did like normal editions, and then they did editions that were signed by the author. But it wasn't actually too expensive at all. It was very reasonable. So I was very happy about that. And it's nice to kind of have a collector's item, and to be around for a collector's item coming out, just as I was really properly getting into Shadowhunters. So that was really cool for me. And it's kind of a nice reminder that how successful the books have been and how successful Shadowhunters is around the world, and the fact that it's special enough to warrant a 10th anniversary edition, I think is awesome. So yeah, those are, I believe, all the Shadowhunters books I have in terms of merchandise, and that is obviously the bulk of my Shadowhunters collection. But I do have a few more kind of interesting things, like this, which I got quite recently. I will say from the off, I got it from Amazon, and it doesn't fit in the box, which is kind of a shame. But it comes with a little box, and it is, I think it's more based on the books than anything else, but it's the Lightwood family ring, if you can see that. Big L on the front. I got it for two reasons, because mainly, I mean, I love the Lightwoods, like one of my favourite families, so that's kind of the reason I got it, because you could get like Herondale ring and a Carstairs ring, I think, so obviously the letters were different. But also with this one, it's Alpha Liam, so it just made sense. I don't wear it or anything, it's more of a display thing, but it also came with that kind of thing there, so you can like wear it as a necklace if you really want to, which I think is a really cool little touch. And it was like 11-12 quid from Amazon. I actually bought it with a voucher I got for my birthday, so I didn't actually technically pay anything for it. I thought it was just something different to have in terms of Shadowhunters merchandise, so I thought I'd get it. So I don't like wear it or anything, it's just a display piece, but I think it looks really cool. And it kind of gives me a connection with Shadowhunters as well, with the L on the front of the ring, so I thought that was kind of a cool idea. I was just kind of randomly searching for Shadowhunters merchandise one day on Amazon, and that came up, and I was like, that'll do. So yeah, I've only ever worn it once, and that was the day I got it, because I wore it in one of my videos. I will not tell you which one. It was a reaction, but I will not tell you which one. 10 points to whoever finds that video. Get hunting. I think there are a few occasions when you can spot it on my hand. But again, I don't really have a lot of interest in rings and bracelets and necklaces and all that, so it's definitely more of a display piece for me, but I thought it's kind of a cool little object to have. I don't know exactly how accurate it is. There is like some little engravings and stuff on the side, and it's really good quality metal and everything, so I just thought that was a cool little thing to have. And then finally, I have some shirts. This first one I only got like a month or two ago. You can see there. This is from Redbubble. My nan got it for me. She just randomly decided to buy it for me one day because she's amazing. So yeah, it's like the angelic symbol, and it's like made up of loads of little birds flying away. It was actually one of the designs I was thinking of buying ages ago that I saw on there, because I thought the design looked really cool, but then I decided against it, you know, because of money. And then my nan just decided to buy it for me one day, which I think is amazing of her, considering she doesn't even really know what Shadowhunters is. She just knows I like it, and that's like really sweet. So shout out to my nan, I love you, you're amazing. So yeah, that was the first t-shirt I had, and then the other one I had, I'm sure if you've watched my reactions, I'm sure you'll know it. And I actually have quite a deep sentimental attachment to this one. It's this one here, that one of Simon saying "afraid, I was born afraid," which is obviously one of his quotes from the show. That's Alberto as Simon on the front there, from season 1. And I've worn that in most of my Shadowhunters reactions, I think, and a few other videos that I've done. But that was actually special to me because it's like a limited edition kind of thing, a limited time only. Alberto Resende, obviously the actor who plays Simon, who was like raising money for testicular cancer awareness, because obviously, I believe, it's like 2013 I think, Alberto had testicular cancer, and luckily he won his battle with it. So obviously that's a cause very close to his heart, and he's kind of been campaigning ever since. And that was kind of one of his fundraisers that he did. So you had to order the shirts, and then that would make money for his charity and stuff. And then when that kind of closed, they would print the shirts and send them out to you. Quite a bit of money, but I feel like for such a good cause, it's kind of worth it. And it's a cause I care very passionately about as well, and very close to my heart. So I was more than happy to kind of support Alberto in that venture. It's such a kind of awesome thing to do. And obviously because Simon's my favourite character, I love that I have a shirt with him on. So yeah, it's nice that there's probably not a chance for many people to get that shirt ever again. So it's kind of nice to be a bit, be present and be around for that like week or two where you could order that shirt. So yeah, the day that came I was very, very excited. And that's kind of it with my Shadowhunters merchandise. So I have a little bit. It is mainly like the books and stuff and special editions of books. But I am very keen to kind of expand the range of stuff I have, but I don't know really what's out there. But yeah, let me know kind of what Shadowhunters merchandise that you have, and send me pictures on Twitter. I'd love to check it out and see what you have. So I don't really know a lot about what's out there, and I'd love to get a lot more. But Funko, if you're listening, if you can hear me, if you can hear my prayers every night, please give me Shadowhunters Pop vinyls. I would love you forever. I just think they'd be so cool to have. And yeah, I just like showing my love of Shadowhunters, and that's why we all buy merchandise, because we love the things that they're based around. But I definitely like to see a lot more Shadowhunters merchandise in the future. But yeah, that is everything I have, and until tomorrow's video, thanks for watching.